Hey, Drew.
Yeah, that's it, Kevin. Keep moving. Don't stop long enough to see who you just might have run over.
Excuse me?
You blow me away, man.
You mean just me's the first to know what I do?
No, it's more like who you do. You don't care who you chew up, right? The story comes first, always.
No, not always. Right now, my bladder comes first, so maybe later you'll tell me what's got your britches in such a blaze.
Rachel Gannon? Daughter of D.A., sought in car theft. Brought to you by Kevin Buchanan.
So, that happens to be true. Why, do you have a problem with that?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Mel, is that you? Oh, no, it's not Mel. It's Eric Roberts.
Guess who?
Oh, it's you. Now, what was your name again?
You didn't recognize me, huh? I'm pretty formal.
Yeah, you look great. Really confident and ready for what's ahead.
Think so?
Yeah. Today you're going to go in that courtroom and you're going to get your name cleared finally. And tomorrow you can follow your dream and start applying to law schools.
So where's Nora, inside?
No, that's another case. She's not in there.
What about the district attorney?
No, just the assistant.
Great. Hank Gannon's not here yet, and neither's Nora. My big day, and the real players forget to show up.
Stop it. Everybody's going to be here, you know that.
So where are they?
Nora. Sorry.
What has been going on? Has anyone called in about Rachel? Have you heard anything?
Take it easy. I'd let you know the second that I heard anything new.
Well, then why isn't there something new? I mean, what's going on? Why hasn't anyone called? Isn't anyone looking?
Calm down.
No, we're talking about a sports car here. A big, red, bright, snazzy sports car. Are you telling me not one police officer in the state of Pennsylvania has even seen it in a whole day? She's been missing a whole day.
Yes, and we know that.
Yeah, well, doesn't anyone care?
Yes, we do. We all care. What is the matter with you, all right? Just take it easy. We're doing the best we can right now.
Is that good?
Honey, we will find her.
What if she's out racing around, driving that sports car, flying high as a kite? What if she's using and driving?
My hunch is that she isn't even on the road yet. Otherwise, we would have brought her in by now.
Or the worst could have already happened. Couldn't it?
In all the wrong places. With all the best stuff. I'm gonna fly now. I'm hungry.
May I ask what you call this, boy?
Asa, calm down.
Answer me. What the hell is this?
It's your breakfast, sir.
At supper time.
It's morning, honey.
Don't you talk to me. I don't even need a crazy doctor to tell me the time. And I know what I ordered.
You ordered sausage and eggs, sir.
But safe food, you hear? Safe food. Bacon, biscuits. Now move, you hear?
Guy ought to be locked up.
You figured I wasn't watching you, didn't you? You think I don't know you're trying to poison me, do you, you quack?
Nigel, for goodness sake.
Oh, Grandpapa, may I make a suggestion? There are other restaurants where we may have dinner.
Don't you eat that, buckaroo. That could be poison. Keep your eyes open. Those slick doctors and whores just might pull one over on you. But no, not on this cowboy. Not in your lifetime. Don't mess with Texas.
Sit down.
Fine. You want it? You got it. Have his breakfast, too.
Hey, what are you guys doing here? Don't tell me you closed down the diner.
No. Ma got Rosa to watch it for a couple hours.
Today is a whole new beginning. You think for 1 minute that I was going to miss the start? Think again.
Well, what about you, mister? You cutting class?
No, I got a note from home. I told him it was a family business or something like that.
Just in time.
So you're next? I mean, this is your case right now?
Where's Nora? You need to have your lawyer with you.
And, you know, I bet Hank and Nora are downstairs talking in Beau's office. I'm gonna go down there and see what's holding him up. Would you tell him not to worry?
I'll tell him, but it never helps.
Hey, relax. I'll be back in just a minute with everybody.
And I hope she's right.
Oh, come on, Tony, come on, just... Look, it's all coming together now, all right? Just trust it and trust Andy and trust us.
I don't know, man.
This time is different. This time, I believe it's a done deal.
What?
Nothing. I'm just proud of you, that's all. I've missed so much. All those lost years. I'll never forgive myself.
No, stop it. Don't go there.
I shut you out, Tonio. And there you were, locked in prison without your family, and I wasn't there for you. And you weren't even guilty.
Look, I've made mistakes. All right? We all have. I did a lot of things in my life that I'm not proud of.
And like you said, Mom, it's a new beginning. And everything's gonna be all right, right?
Right.
Right. And I'm going to be right where I should have been. Standing right behind you.
You're right, honey. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows what's going to happen 10 seconds from now. But I do know that Rachel hasn't been racing around in Marty's red sports car. Otherwise, she would have been seen because the word is out.
Oh, hey, Beau, anything new? Guess not, huh?
I'm sure you're still angry with me. I mean, not that I blame you. I've been really angry with myself. You warned me. I mean, you all tried. And Rachel just told me what I wanted to hear. She was lying. She used me. I let her. I'm sorry. I knew it in my head. I just wasn't wanting so much to believe it in my heart.
Yeah, well, don't you think we all wanted to trust her, huh? But no, you just had to open up your mouth. So everyone else played the villain, and Rachel played you.
She's hurting already, Hank, and she's scared to death.
Yeah, well, Beau, I think she needs to hear this, and God help me, I need to say it. I guess I'm not the only one around here thinking that he's right all the time, am I?
No.
Thank you. Look, I know we both wish our daughter was someplace safe in a rehab instead of who knows where, out there in a stolen car. I mean, we can't even put out a full APB on her.
What do you mean?
I can't get Marty Saybrook to press charges.
Yeah, it's not an official search. If there were charges, well, then we could arrest her and have her brought in. But no one seems to want to take off the gloves. So I'm starting to lean towards Bo's way of thinking. That she should hit bottom, and the sooner, the better. And arresting her just might speed that along.
Nora, Hank.
Hey, Andy, what's up?
Hey, Bo. Well, that's my question. Why aren't you guys upstairs in court?
Antonio's hearing, my God. Is it late?
Late?
Is he already up there?
Yeah, I'm starting to worry.
Go up there. Just tell him that we'll be there in a couple of minutes. Whatever you do, just don't tell him that we forgot.
Believe me, I won't.
Okay, we're right behind you, Andy. I'm coming too.
Okay. You guys, look, I'm really sorry about Rachel.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Listen, guys, it's we're already 2 minutes late, all right? And it's Judge Malfi.
Yeah, we set our watches by Malfi around here.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Red?
I can't. Everything's just, all I can think about is Rachel. I just can't even think straight.
What, are you kidding me? Who's she trying to kid here, Hank, huh?
Not me.
Honey, listen. Worrying about Rachel right now is not going to make one difference in the world. But once we find her, once we bring her back, it's going to be a whole new ball game. But right now, there is a guy who you can make a difference for. He's in that hearing room right now. Antonio needs you.
I just want to do right by him.
You will, Nora. You always do.
Okay. Well, getting up there. Don't be late, Hank,
Yeah, good.
right?
Right.
Judge Malfi, remember?
Right. Nora, stall for me. Just 2 minutes tops, okay?
Yeah, 2, and then +2, and then +2.
Yeah.
Don't be too long, Judge Malfi.
Okay, thanks. Look, Bo, I'm sorry I snapped.
Well, you two have a history. But she's doing a pretty good job beating herself up right now, Hank. I don't think she needs any help. Nora's already thinking the worst, you know. She thinks that Rachel's wrapped that little red sports car around a tree or she's wiped out on the turnpike, you know. She's just making herself nuts about all this, Hank.
Yeah? Well, but if she's wrong, if that's all she's thinking, it isn't the worst that can happen.
What could be worse?
Well, running into a family of 4 and taking them all out along with her.
Sorry, Drew. Nature called. That takes priority. But getting criticized from you comes a close second, so here I am. Let's have it. Let's play Blame the Media. Who wants to kill the messenger first? Come on. You with that disapproval in your voice. Go ahead, give it a shot.
Yeah, well, I think I've said all there is to say.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't think so. Do I get to play this game? Okay, let's try. Yes, I am a reporter. Yes, I want the story. And yes, definitely, I want it first. But I'll chop through anyone or anything to get it? No, I'm sorry, that is not me.
Oh, no? Well, tell that to Rachel when they pull her in and book her for Grand Theft Auto.
When they pull her in. They haven't done that yet, have they? Do you think a picture of her on the front page of the newspaper might help? Do you think maybe somebody might see this and give a call? Do you actually think if her father, the district attorney, had a problem with this being public, he might have come over and said, Kevin, could you keep this quiet? Drew, come on, you're a bright guy. Think about it. And while you're thinking about it, take another good look at that article. Because if you read it well, you'd see that I really toned it down.
Yeah, well, you've definitely said enough.
Did you see the Sun? Did you see what they did to this story? Look, I'm a reporter. I report the truth, no matter how hard or ugly it may be at that time. But I don't sensationalize it. And that's what makes the banner the banner. And that's why Rachel is a lot better off with us. But I'm telling you, the only thing I can offer her is the truth. And nobody, not even you, cares more about Rachel Gannon than I do.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Because Not too long ago, Rachel and I were practically engaged. What, are you having a problem with that, too?
Hey, 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 Sleeping Beauty. Let's open those peepers.
What do you want? What's going on?
Are you okay, honey?
Get away. I don't know you. Get away!
I come looking to keep you alive, that's all.
I don't need to. Fine. Get out. Get out. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Rocky. You're just gonna be fine. You're gonna be so fine. Come on, girlfriend.
Take this anymore. I can't.
Then sit down. Ask for a doggy bag next time.
I won't. Will you stop it? I want you to take him home right now, please, Nigel.
If Madam says so.
Madam, I thought you told me you were a doctor. You have a whorehouse? Why, where are you going? Hey, come back here, please. Bring on the girls.
Alex, calm down.
I don't know how much longer I can take this.
Not another day if you don't want to.
Asa is my husband.
It's not who you married. You certainly don't love him. You proved that yesterday to the both of us. Leave him. It's as easy as that.
No, it's not easy. I'm the mayor. Everybody watches me. Opponents, reporters, everyone. People watch who I stop and talk to. No, I cannot leave my husband.
The woman's a saint, Renee.
I'll take the 5th.
I better go see if there's anything I can do. You'll excuse me, please?
In perpetuity.
Don't you dare argue with your old grandpa. I'll cut you out of my will again, Sonny. Now, you'd gallop your sorry butt, like I told you, over to Sweet Rosarita's hacienda, and you bring me a big plate of eggs ranchero. Oh, take a left at El Paso.
But, Grandpapa, don't make me leave you alone.
Oh, fine, I'll go myself.
Oh, no, just let sweet Rosa Rita deliver.
Yes, she did, way back in the old days, delivered big time.
Sonny, why don't you go and get what your grandpappy wants, and I'll stay here until you get back. Go on, saddle up. Get.
Well, sit down, Renee.
And left at El Paso.
Oh, thank you. Give me a break. I really feel awful about this horrible routine because that snake is around.
Asa, this pretense is just no good. If your wife is being unfaithful to you, confront her.
I've got to get proof, Renee, before I do anything. And then you watch me. The minute I find out that Alex is catting around behind my back with that snake, Carlo Hessa, hang on. This could be it, the proof that I'm looking for. Yes.
Hi, Mr. Buchanan. This is Kathleen from the Landview Towers.
Go on, I know who I'm talking to. Spill it.
Double my money if this is the news you want.
We made a deal. Now, what do you have for me?
Well, I was in Mr. Hester's suite, straightening up when the mayor arrived, just like you thought she would.
All right. Now, let's get to the meat. Now, after the mayor came in, what happened? What did you see?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I apologize. If I could just have him, I'm sorry that I'm late.
I'm okay, but the judge over there was grousing a few minutes
All
ago.
right, well, I'll explain it to the judge.
Could you explain for me quickly, Nora, so I have some understanding of what's going on?
Yeah, okay, real fast. Hank tells the judge that there's compelling new evidence and he requests a new trial.
Wait, what do you mean a new trial?
No, it's just a formality. This is how it's done.
Okay.
So the judge hears the new evidence, he grants a new trial, but it never happens. The district attorney, believing in the innocence of Antonio Vega, recommends against prosecution. As far as the court of law is concerned, there was never a trial, there was never a verdict of guilty. Antonio has a clear name and a crystal clear record.
God, the law is strange sometimes.
Not as strange as this judge. Let's get the show started here, okay?
Buenas suerte.
Oh, is everyone here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would like to
Sit down,
explain.
Mr. Buchanan. You wasted enough of my time. Mr. District Attorney, this hearing concerns a request from your office. You have asked me to grant a new trial in the case of Commonwealth versus Vega. Now, should I so grant, I assume that the Commonwealth has no intention of prosecuting?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ah, I see. In other words, you're saying that besides wasting my time here today, the DA's office has wasted the time and money of the Commonwealth for bringing Mr. Vega to trial in the first place, not to mention the years and the cost of his incarceration.
Your Honor, new evidence has come to light in this case.
Fine. I've been waiting for some time to hear it. So, let's put your cards on the table. And I hope that some of them are pretty darn high. Because right now, from what I can see, there's no reason for me to think twice about denying this request. So, let's get to it, shall we? If I were you, I'd play my highest card first, Mr. Gannon. Antonio Vega, convicted of second-degree murder. Victim, Ezequiel Ziggy Martinez. The date was 2/12/89. The location was Nunzio's Pool Hall, 265 Corona Street, East Landview.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth has discovered an eyewitness to the events that took place on the night in question. Now, the man was unknown at the time.
But
Mr.
will
Vega
now
was first brought to
confirm,
trial.
he will now confirm under oath that Mr. Antonio Vega was acting in self-defense, blah, blah, blah. I have a statement right here signed and sworn to by one Mr. Javier Perez, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The same Mr. Perez who confessed to conspiring in the abduction of a Landview PD detective?
Yes, Your Honor.
The same Mr. Perez who pled guilty and who, even as we speak, is beginning his prison term in Statesville for that very crime?
Yes, Your Honor, the same.
Now, I've had plenty of time to study this file, and I thank you people for that. Now, it appears that Mr. Perez has an alarming number of prior arrests, and yet you've considered that, and you still consider him a reliable witness.
Yes, Your Honor. In this instance, I do.
Ah, but there might be little doubts that would come in other occasions. Can anyone else confirm what Mr. J. Perez says he saw?
Well, Your Honor, we hadn't planned on calling in any further witnesses.
And yet in this instance, you choose to believe him.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I choose to believe Antonio Vega. I've gotten to know him better. Mr. Vega is a hard-working young man who respects the law. And thanks to his leadership, there's been a big change in East Landview. I firmly believe the phenomenal drop in gang violence over the last year is due to his efforts and also with the help of the Landview police.
Mr. Gannon, I couldn't be happier that things have improved for the people of Angel Square. Thank you for sharing. However, this has nothing to do with the attempt to validate this statement.
Your Honor, there's something that I'd like to say.
Would you, Commissioner? Please. There will always be room in my courtroom for another impassioned speech.
No speech, Your Honor. I enlisted Antonio Vega's help in combating the problem of gang violence in Angel Square. And our operation was a tremendous success because of Antonio Vega's commitment. Not only did he help calm that entire community, he also arranged for 2 major rival gangs to disband. Now, he worked with one of my best detectives. Together, they helped smoke out corruption in our very own police department, which resulted in...
I said thank you, Commissioner. This is not a parole hearing. If it were, your statement on Mr. Vega's behalf would be perfectly relevant, and I would be moved to continue parole. But we are here today to discuss something entirely different. Now, do you have anything to add concerning the death of Mr. Ziggy Martinez?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Now let's move on. Perhaps now would be a good time to hear from our friends at the defense table. That is, if Mrs. Buchanan can spare me a moment or two of her valuable time. Please. I'm all ears.
Engaged?
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it. We were definitely headed down that road. There was a serious relationship, is the point I'm trying to make.
Now, your parents must have loved that.
Why? Because she's half black?
Well, I mean, some parents have a problem.
Yeah, not mine. Mine were great. It was Hank. Hank had the problem. Hank hated me.
Yeah, way too white for him?
Too white, too rich, I don't know. He thought I was out to have a good time in a real liberal and unbiased way, and then I was gonna dump his daughter and find someone more in my class.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him in action.
Yeah, Hank's tough, but he cares. I mean, underneath all that attitude, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, right.
I admire Hank. He's the reason I wanted to go to law school. What?
Come on, Kevin. He's not even your father, and you felt the pressure. From what I hear, Hank and Nora, they're much too hard on Rachel.
Hank and Nora were just very keen on their daughter going to law school.
What are you talking about? They came at her from both sides like 2 bulldozers. I mean, what kind of choice is that?
All right, granted, they're both strong people, and I'm not saying that they didn't pressure her. But the only one being so hard on Rachel has been Rachel. She's always been wound up really tight.
Yeah, well, don't you think Mom and Dad get some sort of credit for that?
Some sort of credit, yeah, but not all of it. Drew, Rachel has always had something inside of her that's been unhappy, not comfortable. I don't know, but it's like Rachel never figured out where she thought she belonged.
Meaning what?
Besides the law school thing, Rachel never talked much about it, but it was never easy for her, and I'm sure it's still not, coming from 2 different cultures and 2 very different parents. It took a lot out of her, and it hurt her a lot. I don't know, I really hate seeing what's happening to Rachel now, you know. Oh, man. Oh, geez, I better go. I am not going to make the courthouse.
Kevin, listen.
We'll talk later.
Hello?
Drew? Drew? Is it you? Rachel? You're gonna help me? Something's happening. Rachel, where are you? You're gonna help me. Oh, God. I thought you gotta get them off of me. I'm parked behind the spaghetti factory. God, get them off me. They just won't get off.
Rachel, hang on. Just listen. Rachel, where are you? The spaghetti factory. What are you talking about?
They won't get off. Drew, I don't want to die.
Rachel, listen to me.
I don't listen.
Rachel,
Not like this.
listen to me.
Let
Tell me
do.
where you are. I can find you if you just let me know. Rachel, tell me.
You gotta
Rachel, where are you?
get them off.
What's the... Rachel! 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 Rachel, where are you?
Dazzle me, Mrs. Buchanan.
Well, before I say anything, I would like to apologize once more for the delay this morning. Please don't hold my client responsible. I'm completely to blame.
I'm well aware of that, Mrs. Buchanan. Your client was here when his case was called.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, for our next number?
Well, as we see it, the question before the court is, has my client suffered a wrong at the hands of the Commonwealth? And if so, should that wrong be now righted? I say very clearly he has. Mr. Vega deserves to see true justice done in his case. My client spent 6 long and very, very difficult years in confinement, proclaiming his innocence, and now someone has stepped forward. Mr. Perez's accounts of the events of that fateful night match Mr. Vega's on every detail. Of his own free will, uncoerced, Mr. Perez made that statement.
Why now?
Your Honor?
Well, there must be some reason why Mr. Perez has a sudden desire to tell the truth. A lot of years have passed. Why now?
Well, they were rivals. Their gangs were at war with each other at the time of the incident and still were until very recently. Leaders of rival gangs do not testify on each other's behalf. They're enemies. But things are very different now in Angel Square.
I'm aware of that. Thank you.
Yes. And shouldn't their less than affectionate history give even more credibility to Mr. Perez's affidavit, since it was given on behalf of a man who was once his sworn enemy?
I should say it should. But I've heard that there was an offer of leniency made in exchange for the statement. Is this not the case?
Yes, Your Honor, there was an offer of leniency made, but it was long after Mr. Perez's statement was taken. Before Detective Harrison's kidnapping. That affidavit was filed before Mr. Perez was indicted and sentenced for his role in the crime. The statement stands.
Very good, Counselor. Point made and taken. Well, I've studied the statement, the file in detail, and I think that all pertinent questions have been addressed. It's time now for my ruling.
Excuse me. There is just one more thing, just one very vital issue that I think should be weighed before making your decision. Please consider the family, not just Antonio Vega. Consider his mother and everything that she's been through. She's been punished too. She had a child ripped from her arms.
Do I strike you as an overly sentimental man, Counselor?
This court punished an innocent woman. We locked up her heart when we locked up her son. We not only took away his freedom, we destroyed her dreams of watching him make a success of his life, of having a family, of providing her with grandchildren. Try to feel what it's like to lose a child. Try to imagine all that love, all those hopes, lavished on that life, on that future, and then watching them all disappear with a single stroke of a gavel. A tiny, tiny misstep of justice condemned Carlotta Vega to years of uncertainty, to hours and hours and days of not knowing what was happening to her own flesh and blood, of not being able to see her, of not knowing what she feels, what she needs, of not being able to help and not being able to think about anything else but him. Of him. We cannot give Antonio Vega back all those lost years, but we can give him back his good name. We can give him back the chance to pursue his dreams now, becoming that
fine lawyer that I know he can be, that he will be?
Something terribly wrong happened in the courtroom 6 years ago. Some other courtroom. An innocent man was accused, convicted, and caged for a crime that he never committed. Well, I'm saying now, it's time now, Your Honor, to right that wrong. Here, right here, today. It's time for the Commonwealth to give back to Antonio Vega what it can. Give the man back his future. At least. The very least. The future that Antonio Vega so richly deserves. I mean, don't you think?
Trust me, Mr. Buchanan, my eyes are a perfect 20/20. And even hadn't I had a perfect view, I certainly know what I heard. Oh, sir, the moans, the gasps, the shuddering cries of pleasure. And that was just the first time. The second time he lifted her up into the air and...
Asa? Asa?
Asa! Oh, my God, darling, don't! Don't! Stop! Oh, darling. Somebody help! Someone to stop him!
Renee, what the hell is going on here?
No, don't! No! Don't! Stop! Don't!
We're terribly sorry this happened, Mr. Hesser.
It's all right, Robert. It's not the club's fault. Mr. Buchanan is a very sick man.
He beat me out of everything, Renee. Everything that matters to me. He planned the whole thing, that lowlife.
Darling, just take nice, big breaths. Real, come on, deep. That's right, good.
Excuse me. If Mr. Buchanan's delusions are going to lead to habitual violence, I'll have to recommend to the board that his membership be revoked. I'm sorry.
Asa?
Took my business, took my family, took $30 million in cash of mine. Took my wife. That miserable, low-life scum took my wife.
No, come on. No more getting riled up. Look, you have already broken everything here that you can break. Come on, I'll take you home. You can break whatever you want at home, all right? Come on. Asa, darling, we'll find your medicine. And when your heart is back to normal, we'll sit down together. And we'll have a quiet conversation and figure out together what it is you're supposed to do next.
I already know what I'm going to do, Renee. Get revenge. But I need your help.
To do what?
I want you to call Max Holden for me.
Max?
Right? That is what I said.
No, Asa. No more upset. Max hates you. You hate Max. Asa... Darling, please tell me why you want me to call Max.
Have we finished now, Mrs. Buchanan?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm finished. Thank you.
I have to admit, I enjoyed little parts of that speech. Once or twice, I was actually moved. I have children. But there's one more speech I would like to hear before I make one of my own. Before I make a final ruling in this case, I would like to hear what Mr. Vega himself has to say. Mr. Vega, the room is yours.
Rachel, it's me. Rachel? Rachel. Come on. Rachel, what'd you do? Oh, God. Breathe.